Greetings. Welcome to Ignite Your Soul Connection. My name is Janice and I'll be a host and facilitator for this insightful conference. This 15-day series is a gift to our community, and it's being brought to us by Master Force International Leadership Academy, whose commitment is to see our youth educated in a way that they may experience being self-actualized at a younger age. Master Force came onto the scene in the early 90s, introducing meditation to teens and their parents as a means to bring peace and unity to their community. Thank you, Master Force, for this opportunity. And tonight, we actually have the honor and the great pleasure of speaking with Chef Iccha Devi Ra, and of the Reluctant Vegetarian. And so before we get started, we're just going to talk a bit about her and let you know that this teleconference, is actually interactive. So tonight, but do note, tonight, instead of actually leaving questions on the Ignite Your Soul Connection Facebook page, although you can do afterwards, we ask that you please ask your questions by pressing 1 on your touch-tone keypad or mobile device, and we'll make sure we get to you that way, okay? So a bit about Iccha Devi Ra. Iccha Devi Ra is a multidimensional talent. She was self-trained vegetarian chef that brings both refinement and whimsy to find local, organic, and sustainable ingredients, much to the delight of her exclusive clients. She is also an artist, and her primary means of artistic expression is through her work as an independent and personal vegetarian chef. When asked about her work, Ms. Ra states the following: "My goal is to take the freshest and loveliest ingredients and elevate them by treating them with respect. I create custom meals and events in my clients' homes, my home, and other lovely exclusive venues all around the Chicagoland area. I'm the author of a vegetarian cookbook and an entertaining book that I am in the process of self-publishing." Chef Iccha also provides cooking instruction that inspires and enlightens his students, ultimately encouraging them to venture into the kitchen and create beautiful meals for themselves and the ones that they love. Hello, Chef Iccha. How are you?
I am magnificent, Janice. How are you?
Great. Now, I'm so excited, actually, to have you on the line tonight because as opposed to just talking about food, which I love your food, you know that, we're going to be talking about Bach Flower Remedies. And I actually, this year I recently found out that you were actually a Bach Flower Remedies expert. And I'm not too surprised, I got to be honest, but, this is, and even in all of our conversations, this will be my first time getting to chat with you about it. So I'm really excited, glad that you were able to participate.
Absolutely, me too. This is a wonderful honor, and it's been a beautiful experience, the 2 weeks that have led up to this. So I'm absolutely excited to kick off the last week and really to share this information because it's so awesome.
Yeah. So before we get started, you know the drill. I shared a little bit about your bio, but, you're so magnetic. You're so just a running ray of sunshine. Let's let our listeners know a bit more about, and those that may not know you at all, know a bit about you and your journey. So if you would share a bit about that.
Absolutely. My goodness, I would love to. I'm grateful to be sharing this information because I know that some of what I've experienced is going to really, really help people because, because I do. Part of what I want to share for sure is how my spiritual journey began because all of this information that we're sharing on Ignite Your Soul is to give everyone that is listening the impetus, the encouragement to empower themselves and to ignite their own soul connection. Mm-hmm. So when I look at what I've experienced, and which I'll share right now, my journey began kind of in the late 90s. 2012 almost now. So it kind of began like in the mid to late 90s when I started to recognize a little bit more explicitly that I was feeling a little bit different in my spirit and that I wanted to express myself differently. And I met with some really, really profound challenges. In 1994, 1999, and in 2001, I had very large, what are considered psychotic episodes. In 1999, I literally, not figuratively, I literally died. I was in a car crash, and my legs were crushed, and I had to get all kinds of surgeries to save my legs and to make it so that I would be able to still walk and to still, move and have my being. I still remember that the initial plan was to amputate. However, there was some way that they were able to figure out how to save my leg, and that was my right leg and my left ankle. So both of my legs and ankles were really, really badly damaged. As a result of that, I started to recognize that I was having really, really terrible pain for a very long time. I could not stand for any longer than about 10 minutes, and I could barely walk from my house to the car because I was in such excruciating pain. I had sciatica and a lot of different physical ailments, and it was just really, really very traumatic. And so as a result of both the spiritual, the emotional, and the physical turmoil that I was in, I finally really, really turned inward. I had a desire to turn inward earlier, but I never really pursued it with much, not with the fervor that I did after that. One of the specific quotes that really served to move my soul in that way was a quote that was shared with me from the Gospel of Thomas, and it says basically, if you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. And I was like, okay, this is pretty much what I'm experiencing. And so somewhere I had to get the support and the courage to go the next step on my journey, which I recognized was to be on a healing path and also being a teacher, facilitator, and doing the work that I do in the world now. So after that time frame, I became a Reiki master. I was initiated into the Ra Universal Life system of Reiki and healing. I'm an initiate and a practitioner of Sahaja Yoga under Master Sri Mataji Nirmala Devi. I'm also an initiate and a practitioner of Surat Shabbat Yoga under Master Bhagwan Ra Africa. And I even, for myself, I even developed, and like I said, it's for myself, my own form of asana yoga, which I call soul-to-soul yoga or lila, which means God play in Sanskrit. And also the former owner of sort of like a cottage industry store, and it was inside of my home. So I did some mail order and I did some delivery of incense that I handmade and soaps and scrubs and cold processed soap that I handmade. And I gathered all the herbs for that and created sachets and water baths. So this has been a journey that had been unfolding for some time. And
I see, yeah.
And so one of the areas, and so I've been cooking, whether I'm in the kitchen or not, I'm always stirring something up. And a lot of times it does have to do with plant-based materials. And so the way I was introduced to the Bach Flower Essences was because I knew that I needed something that I could help myself with on a regular basis that would encourage my intuition and my creativity and really serve to empower me. And when I heard someone relay the story of how Dr. Bach came about the flower essences, talk about ignite your soul connection, I was on fire. Basically, the way that they explained it to me, and I think that it's part myth, and I love it, they said that during a time when he was profoundly ill, he got to a point of being not so ill. But then he decided that he wanted to create this plant system, this flower system, to help facilitate healing. So he went out into the field, out by his home where he lives in England, or where he used to at that time. And he basically worked himself up into the different emotional states that he thought really were the primary ones that needed assistance. And then he pretty much communicated and intuited with the flowers which ones would be able to assist with those particular ailments. And then those were the ones that helped with his flower essences. And I was like, that's amazing. I love that. Absolutely.
Yes.
And so I was thoroughly intrigued. And I read everything that I could. And expanded into different areas of aromatherapy and different other means of utilizing herbs and flowers and plants for, self-nourishment and for encouragement along the journey, and also, to bring balance and well-being. So I was just like, wow, this is amazing.
Right, yeah, that is actually amazing. I hadn't heard the story, but, it's one thing to, test, a product or, some sort of, a solution or something on, willing participant. It's another thing to put yourself in the state and then actually heal yourself from there. It's just, it's just very, to say the least, interesting, but, that is really intriguing. That definitely encourages me to read a bit more.
Absolutely. I would say so for sure. I know that, like I said, when I read this information, or actually that I was listening to someone that was speaking about it, and that encouraged me. I was like, you know what, I want to read more. I want to know more about this. So
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
What yeah.
Right. So, before we get into your specific topic, I definitely did have a couple of questions. You talked about, being on a healing path, not just a path of knowledge, but a path of healing. And, what was it that really made you clear about, the difference between the two and the urgency at the time, how urgent it was for you to walk that path?
Oh, my goodness. Do you know, I can tell you definitively there was a day, and only people that I think know me really well know this, and I shared this in the way that I know that it would be helpful for people. I was at the University of Chicago, and I was on the psychiatry ward, and I was lying in full leather restraint. Okay, and the people that loved me, they were coming and going, and they were visiting me. They were coming and going, as you do. You come for a period of time, and then you can visit. And the rules are strict depending on, what the patient is exhibiting, whether or not they can have visitors, etc. And while I was having this experience, there were two things that were going on in my mind. And actually, I said two things, but my fingers put up three, so I don't know. We're going to talk about it and see what happens. But basically, I was laying there, and I was having this outward manifestation of whatever was occurring. Inside, I was completely calm, and I believe that was my witnessing self saying, okay, are you observing what is going on? Are you willing to make a change? And then there was also I'm sorry?
No, I said, okay, yeah, that's something.
And then also there was a moment when I felt sadness and a resentment that these people that I loved, they could not do anything for me. Everything that was going on inside of me. And so no matter how much they loved me and they wanted to hug me and care for me and be there for me, everything that had to be done within me. And because there was that calmness in the background that felt reassuring and felt like the love of God really just basically saying, babe, I got your back. Are you willing to do this work? Are you willing to stand up and be who you are, even if it doesn't fit what you think it should be? Because that's what you have done. And to me that speaks back to the Gospel of Thomas that I was saying. I could feel that there were some things that I knew I wanted and needed to bring forth that would be helpful to myself and others, and I was afraid of doing it because it didn't fit within the pale of what I considered to be orthodoxy of what I was doing at that time. What would people think?
Ah, okay. Yeah, I mean that'll definitely have you thinking. I love the quote that you just said. Everything that I had to do, or everything that had to be done within me. That is definitely profound because I suppose that could apply to pretty much anything. Yeah.
Absolutely. Because ultimately, what I have come to know is that we are ready in every moment. We are fully prepared and divinely equipped to do all the work that we're here to do. And so what we have the opportunity to do is as we're ascending, we are here to awaken, we're here to support each other, and we're here to walk our individual paths. So we teach and we learn in the same regard. So just as Moot teaches me something, I have more of an expertise maybe in another area. And so we teach and support each other. That's what the Ignite Your Soul Conference is about. You know, giving this information